You know those stories about old houses, right? The kind that creak and groan when the lights go out? Well, the house on Willow Lane, it does more than creak. It breathes. And you've probably only heard the story from the kids who ran screaming from its attic. But now you're going to hear it from us, the ones who never left.
We have been here for such a long, long time. I mean, before the paint even thought about peeling, before the willow trees in the yard grew their long, tangled hair. We've watched generations come and go. Their laughter, their arguments, their tears, it all just soaks into the floorboards. They're the echoes. But we are the memory. And we're talking to you right now from inside the glass.
See, our home isn't the house itself. It's the mirror. That tall, silver-framed thing they tucked away in the attic, left to the dust and the spiders. For 100 years, this has been our entire world, just a silent, lonely prison of polished glass and twisting silver vines. It's a place with no shadows. Think about it. A shadow is proof that you exist, right? That you can stand in the way of the light. We lost ours. Well, a lifetime ago. The only way we can tell time is by watching the dust motes dance in a stray sunbeam and feeling the silver vines on our frame twist, just ever so slowly. We can see your world, but it isn't real to us. It's all muffled and distorted, kind of like watching an old movie through a dirty, tea-stained filter. We see people live and laugh and eventually leave, but we can't feel the warmth of the sun on our skin or really truly hear their voices. All we can do is watch and wait. And then, after a whole century of nothing but silence, we heard it. The squeak of sneakers on the wooden floorboards. Two children, Leo and Mia. Their energy it hit our quiet world like a clap of thunder. And for the very first time in longer than we could remember, we felt this little flicker of something we'd almost forgotten. Hope. They just couldn't see it the way we did. To them, we were just some old, dusty antique, a piece of junk. But to us, they were a key. They were a door. They were a chance. They looked at their reflections and saw two kids who looked a little tired with dark circles under their eyes. They had no idea they were looking into our eyes, at the genuine, soul-crushing exhaustion of beings who hadn't slept or moved freely in 100 years. They were sharp, those kids, in their own way. They were right. Yes, we were tired. So tired. Tired of the silence, tired of being trapped in the glass, tired of just waiting. We were absolutely desperate to show them, to make them understand that we weren't just their reflections. We were prisoners. So we had to reach out. We had to try. We can't speak, not in a way you'd understand. Our only ways of communicating, well, they would seem strange, frightening even. But what they thought was a haunting was really just our only way to say, help us. That terrifying noise they heard out in the hallway, the one that made the boy's heart hammer against his ribs, that was us. That's all it was. I mean, imagine trying to walk after being frozen in place for 100 years. You wouldn't be very graceful, would you? You'd probably make a sound just like it, a heavy thump, drag, the sound of impossible effort. And then, the shadow. Oh, that wasn't meant to be scary at all. We borrowed the girl's shadow because she was standing so still, and it was the only piece of their world we could actually move. The finger to the lips? That wasn't a threat. It was a plea. It meant, shh, be quiet, watch, understand. The shadow didn't walk towards the boy to attack him. It walked towards him to show him the way out, our way out. But they ran. Of course they ran. Right back to the attic, back to us. And in that sick, greenish light where our world was bleeding into theirs, we made our final, desperate plea. We offered them a trade. But all they heard was a trap. Look, our offer was simple. So simple. We just needed a name, an identity, something to anchor us in their world so we could finally leave the glass. And in return, they could have our quiet, timeless place. They thought we wanted to trap them. No, we just wanted to be free. The boy, Leo, he was brave. You have to give him that. But he was also so foolish. He didn't smash our prison. He smashed the one thing that was protecting us. He shattered that little circular window, and he let the real world come rushing in. To you, moonlight is soft, right? It's gentle, but for beings who have only known the weak,
filtered, tea-colored light of a reflection for a century, it's acid. It's a fire that burns you from the inside out. We didn't shriek because of some magic spell. We shrieked because we were in agony. We had no choice but to fall back. So they won. At least that's what they believe. They ran out of the attic, away from the cold and the dark, totally convinced they'd beaten the monsters. But the story doesn't end there. Come on, it never does. In their haste, they tipped our entire world face down on the dusty floor, plunging us back into total darkness. They sprinted for the warmth and the light and the smell of hot cocoa, leaving us behind. But in their panicked escape, they got a little clumsy. That's what their mother said. Oh, the irony. You look like you've seen a ghost. It's funny, isn't it? They looked that way because they had. But they didn't realize that you can't just run away. A transaction was made, whether they agreed to it or not. They're sitting in their bright, warm kitchen, and they feel safe. They feel whole. They truly believe they escaped with everything they walked in with. But you can't touch our world and not pay a small price. We saw the boy notice it, just for a second. In the reflection on the shiny refrigerator door, his sister Mia was standing right beside him, but her shadow wasn't. They left it. Here. With us. A little piece of her. Now a part of our silent, timeless dark. So, you tell me, did they really get away?